So is it a bubble yet? I'm gonna tell you. Hi, I'm Chuck Vosberg from Next Home, Gulf to Bay, along with my wife Pat, your favorite realtors. And the new stats are out for the real estate market here in the Tampa Bay area, and it continues to be a seller's market. You've probably read that and heard it in the news. And I'm going to give you all the numbers, give you our expert analysis, and then kind of tie it all up and show you what it means to you, whether or not you're a buyer or a seller. So first of all, here's the numbers. Sales are up 6% over this time last year. Inventory is down 39% compared to this time last year. And by inventory, I mean houses that are available to purchase right now. The median price is down a little bit from last month. It came down $13,000 and is now $362,000. And cash purchases have gone up 20% compared to this time last year. And that's a very interesting statistic, and I'll explain why. In fact, I'll start off with that. Why are so many people paying cash? Well, let's back up a little bit. People were not paying cash before because interest rates are so low that it makes better financial sense for most people to borrow the money and then whatever cash that they had that they could have used to purchase the property, put that into some other investment that has a higher rate of return than the interest rate on their loan. So that's kind of the traditional thinking. But what we're seeing here is, since it's such a strong seller's market, we've got multiple bid situations going on almost all the time. And you've probably heard the saying, cash is king. And it really is. It gives you a lot of leverage. So what's happening, and particularly with people who are moving down here from the Northeast, they're selling property up north, and the property up north costs more than what it would cost down here. So they're coming down here with the cash. And even though they have to pay a premium for the property they're getting, they're still kind of ahead of the game because they did so well on the sales side up at their old house. So these people are coming down here. They're willing to pay more for a house because they've got plenty of cash and they really need to get a house down here. So that's what's happening. And it's really just a simple exercise of supply and demand and market forces. People will pay whatever they're going to pay. And really, the value of a house is not what Pat and I say. It's not what the seller says. It's what the market says. And what the market is what somebody is willing to pay for that piece of property. That's what dictates the price of a house. Now, of course, we can predict that number very accurately, but at the end of the day, that buyer's the one that decides, and not us. So all this it's good news and it's bad news. It's great news if you're a seller. It can be bad news if you're a buyer. But let me tell you what this means to you. And I'm going to start off with sellers because that's always the side that benefits from a seller's market. If you're a seller and you're going to put your house on the market, you need to be ready to move because the house is, as long as it's priced appropriately, it's going to sell very quickly right now. And if you've got property, maybe you've got some investment property you might be looking to liquidate, or maybe you're looking to move, we think this is the best time to do it. We're seeing prices stabilize now. They're definitely not going down, but they've stopped going up. So that indicates a plateau. So if you're thinking about selling, this is an excellent time to do it. And we can do an analysis for you to find out if it makes good financial sense for you. We call that a feasibility study. So let us know if you need that. Now, if you're a buyer, don't despair. We're getting buyers into houses even with lower bids than some of the other people. We're getting people in who are financing. We're even getting people in with FHA financing and VA financing. We have strategies for these things. And this is where having a very smart and experienced realtor really pays off, because we have strategies. Price is not always the most important issue to a seller, and we know that. So what we do is we use some strategies to ascertain what's really important to that individual. And we will structure our buyer's offer to appeal to that buyer's need or to the seller's need. And that's how we help our people win houses. And of course, we've got some other strategies too. No matter who you are, you can get in a house, and we have good, solid, ethical ways of making that happen. So now let's take a look at some stats that kind of give us a broader overview. So I made a couple of charts for you. In this first chart, this shows the direct correlation between inventory and purchase price. You can see that they're very, very closely related. One affects the other, and there's a straight line in each one that shows the trend. And we're expecting this trend to continue. It's going to flatten out a little bit because it has to, but this really shows very clearly the correlation between the two. In this next chart, this, in my opinion, kind of proves this is not a bubble. This chart starts way back in 2016, and it shows the available inventory of houses that are available to be purchased. And it shows the gradual decrease over time here in the Tampa Bay area. And it shows that we're just gradually having less and less inventory. And that's expected to continue. Now, obviously, it can't continue all the way down to zero, and that's why we're seeing things kind of plateau right now. But again, we don't expect to see any bursting bubble or anything like that. People, sometimes people who are uneducated will say, oh, well, it's starting to look like, the bubble from back when. And, well, it isn't, because that was caused by mortgage fraud, whereas this is a supply and demand problem. So they're completely different problems. They don't have any similarities whatsoever. And experts believe that this is going to continue on the way it is right now for about the next 12 months. Now, naturally, there's some cycles to it, and there'll be some slight ups and downs, but there's not going to be any major changes coming up real quick. So whatever it is, we have ways of dealing with it. So we just deal with it. If you're a buyer or a seller, talk with us. No strings attached. We put humans over houses. We'll tell you anything you want to know. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.